Hello everybody, welcome to another Gel Monster painting live. Woo! Hi. All right. How's everyone doing today? Hello. Hi guys. Hello everybody. Okay, so in today's live, we will be once again painting another Gel Monster. So if you guys wasn't here the last time, we actually painted Grizzly, this bear right here, and this is the color featuring this little gel monster. So the way this is gonna work is that I'm going to basically pick a random card from this deck, and whatever card I pick, I'm going to be basically painting the gel monster. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna take out the items and also the trainer cards. So because I don't want to draw the items, I want to draw the gel monster, and I also don't want to draw the person. So I'm gonna take those out of the deck. Okay, so here we have all the colors that are in the collection. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this over. I'm not going to like shuffle it because I don't want it to get messed up, but I'm going to just feel and see what I pick. And basically what I pick, I'm going to use the training card to basically draw the character. Okay, so let's see. I am feeling. Let's go with this one. Okay, I don't know what the color that is, but we're gonna find out together. Okay, are you guys ready? 1, 2, bum bum bum. Oh, it's Waddle. Oh, so cute. Look at the little ducky. Okay, this is Experimon number 46. The color shade is blue. The viscosity is 4 stars. Opacity 3 stars. Retention 5 stars. So Experimon number 46, named Waddle, possesses a deceptively lethal ability. It can waddle up to its opponent and nibble at them discreetly, causing discomfort and shock. So cute. Okay. So this is Experiment number 46. I think it's this color. This one right here. So this is Experiment number 46. So as you guys see here, the color, the number here matches the number on the bottle. So this is the blue color. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to swatch the color to show you guys what it looks like as a solid color. Okay, so let me grab a nail tip here and we're going to swatch this color. So one thing I love is my cat in disguise. Why? Because of the ability to like snuggle up and nibble. Okay, so one thing I love about these trading cards is that the stats on the card actually does translate very well to the actual characteristics of the gel in the bottle itself. And so it actually does take the guessing game out of, you know, if you grab a polish, like what's going to be. And I like that it gives the viscosity and the opacity, because sometimes just because a gel is very viscous does not mean that it's very, very opaque. But you will see that with the gel monster, even the 3 stars one are really opaque itself. And usually for gels, I like to do 2 thin coats anyway. No matter how pigmented or how opaque the color is, I always recommend to do 2 thin coats rather than 1 very thick coat. So that way it just makes sure that everything can cure properly in your lamp. Okay, so this is again number 46. This is the blue color right here. So I would say yes, the viscosity is definitely 5 star. It's on the thicker side, as you can see here. It's definitely on the thicker side. So when you have a polish that's on the thicker side, you want to remove majority of the polish off your brush, like so. Okay, and then we're going to paint the tip. So as you can see here, the opacity is 3 stars. And you can see while I'm painting here, you can see how it's a little bit on the translucent side, like right at the tip here. Right, you can see it's a little bit translucent, but it's okay. It already tells you in the card that the opacity is 3 stars. But like I said, with gel, I like to do 2 thin coats anyway. So it's never a deal breaker for me if a polish is not opaque in 1 coat. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure that I do very thin coats, because that way I can make sure the gel can cure properly in my lamp. Okay, so there you go. This is one very thin coat of number 46, Waddle. I'm going to go ahead and give this a cure. It's a very pretty blue. It's a very neutral blue, I would say. Proctor, there you go. You drew Proctor? That's cute. This is the color I got in my gift box. Yes, it's a very beautiful blue. And again, I always do 2 thin coats anyway. So like I said, just because a color is not pigmented in 1 coat, it's never like a deal breaker for me, okay? So all of the Gel Monster gels would cure for 30 seconds in an LED and 2 minutes in the UV. Okay, so make sure you cure for the appropriate amount of time. And now this is cured. I'm going to go ahead and do a second coat. Okay. So as you can see, once the second coat goes on, you will have a fully opaque blue. Look at that. See that? It's a very beautiful, true blue color. This is definitely a very neutral blue. It's not warm, it's not cool. It's definitely a true blue color. This would be the blue that you would use if you're doing like color theory, like the one of the primary colors. This would be the blue to use. It's a very true blue color. You can see that. Okay, super beautiful. Like I said, in 2 coats, you get perfect pigmentation, very even coverage, and yeah, amazing color. Love it. I'm going to go ahead and give this a cure. Now, since this is the card that we're going to, this is the monster we drew from the deck, so I'm going to go ahead and paint Waddle on a nail tip as well. Just to make things a little bit more fun, I want the background to kind of represent that. So this is like a galaxy background. So I think it'll be really fun if we did like a, we're going to use the blue as a background too, but it'll be really fun, I think, if we add this glitter right here. This glitter is, hold on. It's the item card. It is the Black DS Specs glitter. So I'm going to go ahead and add this glitter on top of the blue to make kind of like a faux galaxy background. Okay, so I'm going to top coat the swatch color though. So I'm going to use the Gel Monster Top Gel. So the Gel Monster Top Gel, it is on the thicker side, so you want to use sparingly as well. A thicker a thicker top coat means you can actually do 3D work with this. And let's say if you have a nail design that incorporates a lot of loose glitter, you can actually do a very small top coat overlay to make the surface nice and even, so that way it can save you a step. You know what I mean? Rather than using like clear gel to do an overlay and then do the top coat, you would just go in and do a very slight overlay with this top coat and you smooth out all the loose glitter. But this is it with the top coat. I'm going to go ahead and give this a cure for 30 seconds. Do you need to wipe the layer off? You don't have to wipe the layer off. Is it like Zillabue top resin? It's very similar in the viscosity. It's like I would say this is like the medium viscosity. It's not the high viscosity, it's the medium viscosity. Do you need to wipe the layer off? You don't have to wipe the layer off. You can just go in with the top coat. I would wipe the layer off if I'm using a non-wipe matte top coat. I would wipe it before I do a non-wipe matte top coat. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to try to replicate this background design here very loosely, nothing super crazy, okay? So I'm going to grab another tip here. And actually, let's use a lighter blue. I want to use a lighter blue on the background just so that this blue can show up as Waddle. So I'm actually going to grab this color right here. Let's go a little lighter. Let's do this one. Okay, so this is number 49. So let me go ahead and find Gel Monster 49 for you guys. 49, there she is. Okay, so this is Gel Monster number 49. It's Aquario. Ooh, Aquario looks kind of cool actually. Look at that. Experiment number 49. Color shade neon blue. Viscosity 3 stars. Opacity 4 stars. Retention 5 stars. Experiment number 49. Aquario stands as one of the 3 naturally born Experimons. Aquario's abilities still remain a mystery. Ooh, I love that. Look at it. Okay, so I'm going to use Aquario here, experiment number 49, to create the base. So I have another tip here. I'm going to use this neon blue to create a base for the background. Okay, and this is much more opaque than Waddle, as you can see. Opacity 4 stars, opacity 3 stars, but you can see this one is clearly more opaque than the other one, right? So like I said, the stats on the card actually does translate very, very well and very, very accurately to the characteristics of the gel in the bottle. As you can see, this is opacity 4 stars, and you can see it's much more opaque than when we did the first coat of Waddle, right? So like I said, the card really does translate very well, so it doesn't lead you to a false like you know exactly what to expect from the gel bottle. Okay, and on top of that, I'm going to add the black DS specs. So in this collection, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 glitters. And the black DS spec is one of the glitters. It's right here. This is the Experimon item, number 77. Glitter shade, the color shade is glitter black speckles. So viscosity, 3 stars. Opacity, 2 stars. And retention, 5 stars. Crafted in Zilla's lab, the black DS specs boosts the user's charm enormously. Okay, so this is a very beautiful like black glitter, and it really does look like a galaxy when you open it. Like, it's very, very pretty. So I think this will work really well with like this background, like a galaxy type background. Okay, so we're gonna do one thin coat of this. Okay, just to make it look very galaxy-esque, like that. Nice and sparkly. As you can see, this one, I would say it's like a black hollow glitter. It does have black glitter pieces in here, but it also has like hollow glitter. Hollow glitter is the rainbow pieces that you see. So it's a very beautiful compact glitter. Super sparkly, super pretty. Look at that. Even the camera's going out of focus. Woo! There you go. Can you guys see that? Look how sparkly that is. Okay, and a trick to using like when you're doing glitter gel from a bottle is you want to make sure you do a thin coat. Don't be tempted to do a very thick coat. That's going to add a lot of unnecessary bulk. What you can do is do a thin coat, and let's say if you have a lot of clear gel left over, you can actually grab a what do you call that? Like the sponge to absorb all the excess gel, and that will leave you just glitter, and you can do a second coat. Yeah, this is a lot of glitter, so I don't have to do the whole, take the makeup sponge to like absorb excess gel. This is actually very good coverage, so I'm not gonna do that. But if you have a glitter gel that's a little bit on the more like sheer side, you can definitely do that. Do a thin layer of the gel and then grab like the ombre like makeup sponge and just absorb any excess clear gel, cure that, and then do a second layer, so that way it doesn't add a lot of bulk. You know what I mean? But this glitter payoff is freaking amazing. Look at that, so sparkly. And if you're worried that the gel is gonna seep to the side, you can also just hold the nail upside down. What this does is gravity is going to pull the gel to the center, so that way it's not going to add a lot of bulk on the side of the nail, so it keeps the shape nice and slim. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this a cure for 30 seconds, and you can see even by doing that too, you can see how with the line of light, you see how smooth the surface is, right? It's not bumpy. There's no like bits of glitter sticking out. So that's also one way to smooth everything out rather than doing like a top coat, especially if you have very chunky glitters. Okay, in one layer. Yes, so this is the black DS specs. Okay, this is number 7, the glitter, Gel Monster glitter number 7. And you can see it's super compact with glitter. Okay, and like I said, if you are worried that the surface is like bumpy from the glitter pieces, again, just flip the nail upside down. Gravity is gonna just smooth that out for you, and that way you don't have to worry about the bumps. Okay, even holding it down like this for 10 seconds, you can see it's nice and smooth, right? There's no bump. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this a cure. And then now we can go ahead and paint Mr. Waddle here. So cute. Waddle. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab all the colors that I need. So we're gonna definitely need the Waddle color, which is the blue color, which is right here. Okay. For this top part right here, it's going to be a lighter blue. So I'm going to grab this one. This is number 45. Let me find the card for you. 45. Actually, we can go even lighter. Let's go even lighter. We will go cream blue. So I'm gonna put this back. I'm gonna use let's do this one. Pastel blue. Okay, so this param. So this number 44. Okay. So that is I'm gonna use that for the color for this fin right here. So again, this is Experimon number 44. The name is Param. Param actually means win in Korean. Param. So the color shade is pastel blue. Viscosity 4-star, opacity 5 stars, retention 5 stars. Param, the evolved form of Experiment number 43, inherits a formidable ability, the power to create gusts of wind. Ta-da! Okay, so we're gonna use that for here. And of course, we're gonna need white for the inside of the eye as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that, which is right here. This is the Gel Monster number 1, which is white. So Experiment number 1 white is called super white because it's really pigmented white. This is a 5-star viscosity, 5-star opacity, 5-star retention. Experiment number 1 white. Born in Zilla's lab, wields the power to white out anything. Its brilliance blinds and erases, leaving behind a blank canvas. White can create detailed illusions when using the liner brush. So I would definitely say with a 5-star viscosity, we are definitely approaching more of a liner gel consistency. So this one is definitely a much thicker consistency, as you can see. So a little definitely goes a very long way with this one. So I'm going to keep that here. And we're going to need a gray color here for like the beak and the little tail. So I think this one might work really well. I think it's the exact color. She's thick. Yeah, she's thick with like 5 C's. Like she's thick. She's like liner gel level thick. But with a thicker liner gel, you definitely want to remember less is definitely more. So don't be tempted to add too much when you're trying to paint like a full nail. Less is definitely more, okay? Yeah, I think it's definitely this one. Yeah. Okay, so this, I'm going to go with this gray here. This is number 61. I'm going to go ahead and find the card for y'all, which is right there. Okay, number 61. This Experiment is called Charbabe. Experiment number 61. Color shade bluish gray. Definitely like a cool tone gray. Viscosity 4 stars. Opacity 4 stars. Retention 5 stars. Charbabe, the evolved form of Experimon 60, can generate more powerful smoke clouds that can often be confused for fog or mist. So we're going to use this color for the little tail and the little beak. Okay, and of course we're going to need black as well to do the line work. If you have a black liner gel, you can definitely use that as well. But I'm going to use the Zillabue black gel. This is Midnight, number 63, which is right here. Okay, so Midnight, this is Experiment number 63. It's a true black color. Viscosity 4 stars, opacity 5 stars, retention 5 stars. Experiment number 63, known simply as Midnight, stand as a solarity experiment with no evolution. Midnight can appear and disappear using any form of darkness. It can even manipulate darkness using it offensively or defensively. So I mentioned this when I was painting Grizzly, but I actually like the consistency of this much better than the white as a polish. Like as a gel polish, I definitely like this consistency better. So like the 4-star is definitely my preferred viscosity as a gel polish. So like I said, with the white viscosity, this is definitely approaching liner gel level, which is great for doing line work and detail work. But again, just be very careful when you're doing gel polish application. Keep it nice and thin. A little goes a very long way. Okay, so I'm gonna keep these here. And we are ready to rumble. So this is the swatch color for Waddle. As you can see, it's a very beautiful, true, neutral blue color. Okay. So we are now going to paint Waddle. Are you guys ready? So you're going to learn how, I'm going to teach you guys basically how I do my character planning, how to make sure everything is in proportion and everything. I'm going to share with you all the tips and tricks that I know to help with basically character painting, okay? And the cool thing about the Experimon too is that these are fairly simple, quote-unquote simple characters to draw, not a lot of shading and very simple shapes. And one of the biggest trick to painting any character is that you want to make sure you want to break down the character into simple, manageable shapes so that way it's more approachable. I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? But first things first, before you draw anything, when a gel is a sticky layer, it's going to interfere with how you do your line work. So I'm actually going to wipe off the sticky layer before I paint anything. I'm just going to use a little bit of gel cleanser, okay? And we're going to just wipe off the sticky layer before we go ahead and do any painting. Okay, because sometimes with the sticky layer, it can cause your lines to like bloom and like spread. So it's not going to give you a very clean canvas. So when you wipe off the sticky layer, you have no interference. Okay. So first things first, there's a lot of ways you can go around painting a character. Some people would go in with the line work first. Some people would sketch it out first. Some people would just do color blocking straight away. So it's really up to you what method you want to go for. I think today we're definitely going for the sketching first, so I can show you how to break down the character into manageable shapes. Okay. So I'm gonna grab a little like disposable palette here. I'm just gonna put the colors on the palette so I know what to use. But again, during this live, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer anything I know. Don't forget there is a sale coming up soon for Zillabue's 4-year anniversary. We've already made a couple of posts about that and on our story as well. So definitely check those out. Save the date. You do not want to miss those anniversary sales. They're gonna be a big sale. So definitely set your alarms. Save your coin. So just be ready for an amazing 4-year anniversary sale event. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just add the colors on the little palette. Okay. Okay. So to make things a little easier, I'm going, because this is a fairly quote unquote darkish background, just to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see, I'm going to sketch it out in light blue. You can also do it in white, any color you want. I'm just going to do with a lighter color. Just so that you can see what I'm doing, okay? So the first thing you want to consider when you're doing a character is how much of the character do you want to fit on the nail. Now, that depends very heavily on your ability to draw small characters, right? So let's say if you have a very big character and you want to fit on a small nail like this, you need to be realistic with yourself and on like how much you can fit on the nail. For example, if I'm going to paint like midnight on this small little nail, I'll probably only paint up to like the chest to make it a little bit easier on myself rather than painting the whole thing to fit on a very small nail, right? So for something like Waddle, this is a fairly small character, so it will be able to fit the entirety of it on the nail, okay? And the first thing you want to notice is the head is a nice circle shape, right? And the body is basically an oval shape, right? So once you find these two circle and oval here, you will be able to determine everything else that's on the character, okay? And you want to note too, the head is not in the center, right? If I cut the card in half, the center is like that, right? So the circle is a little bit off center because that way it gives room for the body. So when you're mapping out the circle, don't start like directly in the middle. That way you won't have any room for the body, or the character will look like a little bit to the right. Does that make sense? So you want to start this circle off a little bit off the center towards the left side. Okay. So again, I'm going to use the blue to do this rather than, I would just use this blue color, like Waddle's color, to just do the sketching. But just to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see, I'm going to use the light blue to sketch. So we're going to find the circle to map out the head. So first thing you want to do is to draw a circle. Now, the easiest way I find to draw a circle is to do the cross method. So again, not in the center, I'm going to start off the center to the left a little bit. So the cross method just means I'm going to draw a cross just like that, horizontal line and a vertical line just like that. To make a circle, you just want these two lines to be even. If you want to make an oval, like a vertical oval, make the vertical line longer. If you want to make a horizontal oval, make the horizontal line longer, okay? That's how you create the perfect shape. So this would be my circle, cross. And then once you have this cross, you can go ahead and connect the 4 points to make your circle. This to me is the best way to create the most even circle. And also doing the cross method also helps you determine the size of the character's head before you add anything else, so you know for sure that you're not making the head too big. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and just like mark out the circle here. Okay, I'm also slowly just making it a little bit bigger just because I see there's a little bit more room on the left side here. Okay, just like so. There you go, a nice circle. Okay, and then you can see the body here. Oh, sorry, the light's in the way. You can see the body here. If you imagine you continue this oval, right? You see how this line is going to be right here? You see, if you, okay, you're going to have to imagine a little bit, okay? Imagine if there's a horizontal line and a vertical line here, like that. This is the center point right here, right? And you can see this oval actually touches the center point right there. See that? If you continue this line right here, it actually continues into the center point and then curve down for the body, right? So you can actually use the center point of this circle to help you draw your oval. So from here, you can just imagine it coming down to draw the body. Okay, so like here, you can draw the body just from that point. Like that. See? Okay, I definitely made this a little bit too long, so I'm going to shorten it a little bit. So I'm going to just bring this in a little bit. Bring this. I give it a very long butt, so I'm just going to make it a little smaller. Because in this one, you can see the head is definitely bigger than the body. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Right there is good. Okay, and then whatever mistake you made, you can just grab a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and you, with the cleanup brush of your choice, you can go ahead. Oops. You can go ahead and use that to clean up any mistakes here. So I'm going to just wipe this off. Okay, when you're using a cleanup brush, you don't have to use acetone because it's going to ruin your brush. Just use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and you should be able to wipe off the gel pretty easily. If you're trying to clean up like liner gel, for example, those can be a little bit pigmented. I would do equal parts alcohol and acetone to help clean those up. But with gel polish, you can just use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol and you should be able to clean it up, no problem. Okay, so here we have the head and the body. Okay. And then from here, we basically can map out everything else. So let's start with this point right here, the fin. So again, if you do the cross method like that, you can see this is where it starts. The fin starts from exactly the middle. So this is the middle here, right? So you're basically gonna do a little curve upwards, like a mountain, like that, to create your little fin right there. Okay, and then you can just draw this curved line right here to establish the fin. Okay. If you want, you can also give this a cure right now, just so that everything doesn't like blend in together. And at this point, you can definitely do like a quick flash cure. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my flash cure light here just to give it a little quick cure. Okay, so let's map out the beak. Okay, so again, this is the vertical line right here, center, horizontal line right there. So you can see the eyes are sitting on top of the horizontal line, right? If you split this down vertically and horizontally, the eyes are sitting on the horizontal line. The beak is lower than that, right? So if you use that as a guide, I'm going to grab the white just so you can see where I'm drawing the beak. Okay, again, usually I would just use this color to draw the beak, but this is just to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see as well. So I'm going to show you guys with the white to draw the beak. So again, this is the middle line right here where the eyes are going to sit, but the beak is going to be lower than that. So it's going to start off here. You want to start like a little bump like that. Okay. So it's basically like a little hill, like a straight line, and then like curve up slightly, and then you're gonna curve back down. And you see where I stop here is because the beak doesn't go all the way. It stops pretty much a little bit past the halfway point. So that's why I want to make sure that I translate that on the nail. So again, when you have the guidelines, it's gonna make it a little bit easier for you to place your facial features like much more accurately. Okay. So again, it's going to go from here. It's going to go up and down. Up and down. Okay, so that's the top of the beak. And then to map out the beak, you're gonna do two angled lines right here. So I'm going to do one line right here, one line right here. Okay, and then to round it out, you're going to match the shape on top here with the bottom. Just like that. You have the beak. Okay. Like we can definitely, you know, go in and add more details later, but this is just like a guide to tell you where the beak is going to be. Okay. I'm actually also going to lower the head a little bit because the head is a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more at the bottom here, just to make it a little bit bigger. Same thing here. There you go. Okay, so that's where I want the head to be. Right there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a cure. Okay, and now we can also map out the little legs. So you can see the little legs here. It's just literally basically little tiny squares. We have 1, 2. This is half a square and a little bit peeking in the back here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab the same light blue color to map out the legs. There's gonna be one little square here, like that. Okay, and then one little square here. Okay, and let's say if you want to know where to position the legs, actually here, let me redo it for you so you can see what I'm seeing in my head. So in my head, what I'm seeing is that if you're not sure where to put the legs, I would start with this leg. Why? Because if you look at this leg, if you look up, you can see how the edge, where the face ends here, it basically lines up with where this leg ends. So then you would know where to place this leg. Once you find this leg, you can add this one, and this one. Does that make sense? So from here, if this is the edge of the face here, this line right here, if I just bring this down, vertically like this, then I would know this is where I want to put this leg, right? This is where I would put the leg. Okay, once I have this leg, I can add the other two. So I can go ahead and add one over here. Like that. And then the other one in the back here. Okay, and then the last one just slightly peeking behind this one. Okay, so that's how you can find proportion. Every time if you're struggling with proportion, the best thing I would recommend is whatever you're trying to draw, look up, look down, look left, look right. That's how you make sure it's in proportion, right? So like again, this leg, if you're not sure where to put it, look up. What does it line up to? This line. So you can use that as a guideline to place this leg, okay? So that's definitely something I would recommend if you're trying to be better with like proportions and stuff. And again, this applies to like any type of character. You can use that hack for any character really. Okay, and the last thing we're going to map out is the tail. So the tail is just a little bit like a little tiny oval on the back here. So I'm going to go ahead and map that out, which is going to be right there. Okay. Okay, just like that. So the reason why, if you notice, the reason why I didn't map out any of the eyes is because the eyes are going to go on top of the blue. And we already know with the trading cards that the white is extremely pigmented. The opacity is really, really high. So even if I paint a blue base first, the white is still going to go on top and it's still going to show, right? So I much rather do just a blue base and then add the eyes in rather than adding the eyes now and then painting the blue around the eyes, because I feel like that's a lot more work. Okay, so that's why I'm doing it this way rather than sketching the eyes in now. I'm doing it later. Okay, so now once you map everything out, you can go ahead and start color blocking. So again, we're going to start with the blue, this color here, number 46, the Waddle color. We're going to go ahead and use this to just paint in the face. And again, you already have all the facial features in, so I'm going to go ahead and just paint around it. Now, like I said, like it even says on the card here, this color has a 3-star opacity. So you already know you need 2 coats of this to make it really pigmented. So because you know the opacity is only a 3-star level, don't be tempted to add a lot of this right now, especially when you're color blocking, because you don't want to run into any curing issues, right? So I much rather do 2 to 3 thin coats of this than 1 very thick coat, because again, I want to avoid any type of curing issues. Okay, that's very, very important. You do not want to add very thick layers of gel, because you're going to run into issues like your gel not curing properly, and then your gel's going to wrinkle and it's going to pop and it's going to get gel everywhere, right? Like, even though our gel monster formula is HEMA free, is cruelty free, is 16 free, it has all these amazing ingredients, you still don't want to get it on your skin, right? You should always have a good practice of never getting gel products on your skin. So again, keep the layers nice and thin. Okay, as you can see, I'm painting directly on top of the line work. Okay, so when I'm doing color blocking like this, I like to grab a tiny blob like this and I put it on the nail. You can see it's like a little blob, right? And then think of it as like you're spreading icing. So I'm going to go ahead and use my liner brush here to spread and guide where I want this gel to go. This is how you make sure you do a very thin layer rather than a very thick one. Okay, so you can see with that tiny blob of gel here, I can basically cover the entire body. Excuse me. Hi, thanks for joining. So I'm literally going to just add this to all the face and the body and the leg. Notice how I'm still not picking up any color, right? I'm just using that blob of gel I added and I'm just spreading that around to make it nice and even. And this also prevents me from using too much gel, okay? So still the same blob of gel that was on the body. I'm just using that to spread it around to evenly distribute the gel to keep it a nice thin and even layer. See that? Okay, if there's extra, just spread it upwards into the face just to keep it nice and even. Okay, that's 1 coat. I'm going to go ahead and give this a cure. Now, since this is a much like larger layer, I do put it in a lamp. The glitter is the Black Dia Spec from Gel Monster, actually. It's the Black Dia Spec, which is the glitter number 7 on top of a blue. Okay, and the blue is Aquario, which is the Gel Monster number 49. So it's number 49 and glitter number 7. Okay, this is a very high payoff glitter. It's so like saturated with glitter. It's wild. It is so glittery. Woohoo! Okay, so once that's cured, now we're going to go in with the second layer. Again, we know from the card, this is only a 3-star opacity. So it does need 2 coats to get it to be fully opaque. So I'm going to go ahead and add a second coat now. I'm going to do the same thing, which is a blob of gel as I place right here. And I'm using that like icing just to spread that around. Okay, and you can see 2 coats, it does give you a very good coverage. Right? See that? It's a very big difference. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add a second coat of this blue. Do you guys have any questions so far? Don't forget, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I will do my best to answer anything I can. I'm just going to go ahead and spread this around. Making sure I don't go over any of the parts. Like, do your best to like not go over it. But like with how pigmented this blue and this gray is, you should be able to cover it no problem. Oh, hello from Argentina. What time is it in Argentina? Is it the same time zone? It is currently like 8:39 for me, like PM. Oh, thanks. I'm glad I'm good at explaining. Phew. I just really want you guys to understand. Yeah, we're definitely going to be doing quite a lot more of this, like going live and just like painting some characters. And we're going to do a lot more like the Gel Monster painting. So yeah, 1:39 a.m. for me. 5 hour ahead. Are you in like UK? Right? I think UK is 5 hour ahead, right? I think that's the UK. It's 9:30. Oh, so you're like 1 hour ahead. Okay, cool. Would you ever do the base in white and then cover it with blue? You can. If you want to make the blue like really pop, you can definitely do a white base and then do the blue on top. You can definitely do that. So like let's say even right now, if you want this blue to be like very like blue, you can definitely add the white in the body and stuff and then add the blue on top. It would really make the blue pop. So you can definitely do that. But again, just keep it a thin layer, right? And I would say if you do that, you might be able to get away with one thin coat of blue on top of the white, just because white does boost the color on top. So that's actually a very good point, actually. If you guys are doing a lot of neon nails, especially now with like the new neon collection from like Reposo and like F Gel and stuff like that, it's actually a very good idea to do a white or a milky white base underneath your neons, because it would really make it brighter. Like yes, the Reposo and the F Gel neon collection is very vibrant already, but trust me, when you add a milky white or like a white underneath, it's gonna be so bright. It's gonna be much brighter. So if you really want that like of like neon color, then definitely do a white base. Okay, but yes, if you want the blue to show even more on top of here, yes, go for a white base first and then add the blue on top. That's a very good question. Okay, just making sure I got them all. So you can see 2 coats, very nice coverage already. Okay, 7:40 in Texas. So Texas is like 1 hour behind. That is Texas Central Time, right? I think it's Texas Central Time. I'm in New Jersey, so I'm East Coast. I'm EST. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a cure. In the light. And now we're gonna basically add everything else. I'm gonna add the fin first because it's a nice light blue. And again, I'm gonna use this color. Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna use this color right here. This is number 44. Okay. So I know for this one, you can see the viscosity is 4, opacity is 5. So this is going to be very, very pigmented. So less is more. So I might be able to get away with 1 coat for this one. Okay. And it's a very simple like explanation. The reason why this is more opaque than the traditional blue is because pastel blue is basically just blue with white. So usually any type of pastel color has more opacity because white gels tend to be more opaque than like any other color. So when you add blue to a very opaque white, then you get a very opaque blue, but it's a pastel version. Does that make sense? So with the pastel blue, I'm pretty sure I can get like one coat coverage with this. So again, work in thin layers. Okay. And because it is so opaque, less is 100% more. So don't be tempted to add too much. Again, I'm just applying a little amount, and you think of it like icing, right? You're gonna spread it around to the edge to get that nice even coverage and make sure you're not out the line. Okay, just like that. And you can use your cleanup brush, again, with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Don't use acetone when you're using your cleanup brushes. You're going to ruin your brush and make it really dry. So just use isopropyl alcohol. You can use 70% or like 90%. That's totally fine. But just use alcohol, not acetone. Okay, you don't want to ruin your brushes. Acetone can really dry out your brush. So try not to use acetone if you don't have to. But like I said, if you're dealing with like a liner gel, and sometimes those can be very opaque and very hard to remove, I would still do equal parts acetone to alcohol just to make sure it's not too drying for the brush. Okay. I'm going to add this a little bit to the back of the head. Just following the picture. Boop. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and give this a cure. This one I can do a flash cure because it's a small surface. And I'm using the Diami pin cure lamp. I'm going to have a flash cure. Okay. And now we're going to use the gray color. The gray color is number 61. I'm wondering what the nail is resting on. These are just tip holders. They are called nail tip holders. You can get them from Zillabue, from Amazon, anywhere really. This is literally as a nail tip holder, and it is resting on top of a double-sided tape. So this is what it looks like without the tip on top. I just literally put double-sided tape on here so that way you can grab the nail tip and just stick it on. Okay. So now we're going to use the gray color to fill in the beak and the tail. So again, looking at the card, you know what to expect. So let me grab the card for the gray, which is Charbabe. So again, Charbabe opacity, also 4 stars. So I know it's going to be pretty pigmented as well. So again, less is more. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. Yep, this is pretty pigmented. As you can see, it's doing a very good job covering up the glitter in the back and also the line as well. So another reason why I wanted to do a glitter background for you guys to see is that you can see with the opacity and the quality of the gel monster, you can see it actually does cover up the glitter, right? No glitter is showing through the colors at all. So you can tell from that the pigmentation is really, really good. Even though the opacity, like for the blue, is 3 stars, 2 coats, look, no glitter inside. Okay, so this is the point I'm trying to make here, is that your gel don't need to be like the white gel, like super, super opaque. It doesn't have to be that to make it work for you when you're doing nail art. Okay. And especially with the gel monster gels, it's like pigmented enough that you can actually do nail art like this, even when the gels are not like a 5-star opacity or something, you know? Okay, so that's the beak, and I'm gonna miss a spot right here. Okay, and I'm gonna use the same color to add into the tail. The next part we're going to do is we're going to add all the shading that we need to add into all these parts first before I add the eyes. Okay. So I'm just adding in the little tail. Just like that. Okay, and she is ready to cure. And the light she goes for 30 seconds. Now for the shading, I'm gonna add just a little bit shading here, like on the face here and under here. Okay, and there's a little bit shading on the beak and the tail. Okay, so for the blue shading, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this color right here. This is number 48. Let me grab number 48. So I know what to expect. Again, I love the cards for this purpose, is that I know exactly what to expect from the card. Okay, so, look at that, number 48. This is Mr. Pecking. It is number 48, color shade dark blue. Okay, viscosity 2 stars, opacity 4 stars, retention 5 stars. Mr. Pecking, the ultimate evolution of Experimon number 46, can create large waves by using its massive tail while in the water. When on dry land, it can create earthquakes by striking the ground with its massive tail. Not only can Mr. Pecking reach unbelievable speeds when swimming, it can also use its own tail to surf the waves it creates. That's so cool. Look at the big tail. Ooh. So this is the final evolution of Waddle, which is so cute. Okay, so this is the dark blue color that we're going to use to add the shading on top on the face. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. Okay, right here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the dark blue. And the reason why I'm doing this now is because you see the shading here, it goes behind the eye. And again, I'm not trying to paint around the eye. I want to do the shading first and then add the eye on top. Okay, so using a little bit of this dark blue, we're going to go ahead and add the shading right here on the left side of the face. Okay, and here's the cool thing about this is that this one, you see the viscosity is like 2 stars. So it's a lot thinner. So you can actually do a nice blend. So what I would do is add the line here. And if you really want to blend this out, what I would do is that you see the gel on the brush. I would wipe it off on my palette like this, just to get rid of the excess. And then with the dry brush, you can just like lightly feather the edges. to blend it slightly. Again, because the viscosity is 2 stars, you have a little bit of a thinner consistency, which makes the blending a lot easier. And this is why sometimes just because a gel is a little bit on the thinner side, it's not really a bad thing. It's actually really good for doing like blending like this. Okay, so you see you can literally add a tiny bit and then just like feather it out to blend it. Okay. And then we're going to add some shadow underneath the face here as well. Right there. And we're going to feather that out. Okay. And it's a little bit of shadow like in this back leg right here. So I'm just going to add that tiny little bit of shadow right here. You can also totally just like don't add a shadow. It's totally fine too. Okay. I'm going to give that a flash here. And then same thing with the beak and the tail. It has like a little dark gray. So I'm actually going to use this one, number 62. Grab the card. 62. So for 62, this is Lalachar. It's the color shade dark gray in Experimon number 62. Viscosity 4 stars, opacity 4 stars, retention 5 stars. Lalachar, define the evolution of Experimon 60, can fill the entire city with smoke clouds and also possesses the ability to create doppelgangers with its precise control of its smoke output. That's so cool. So I'm going to use a little bit of that to add a little bit of shading into the tail and a little bit in the beak too. Okay, so a little bit of a dark gray. So I'm going to use this here to add a little bit of shading right here. And we're going to do it the same way, right? I'm going to add the color first. Okay, this is the dark gray color. I'm going to add the color to where I want it to be. And I'm going to wipe off the excess gel off the brush. And then using a dry brush, you can just lightly feather the edge here to create that seamless blend. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing with the beak. The darker parts here is on this side right here, on the nose here. So I'm going to use this to add a tiny bit of shadow right there. Okay, just to make the nose look a little bit more like structured. And it's also at the bottom of the beak, so it's going to be a thin line right here. A thin line going down here. So it's just like the bottom beak. Okay. And we're going to pull that all the way around like so. And again, you can use your cleanup brush to clean up any mistakes you might made. So we're going to clean up brush with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol just to clean up this area. Just like that. Okay, I'm going to give this a flash here. And then the beak also has like a tiny bit of highlight. So you can also use a light gray color, or I'm just going to add a little bit of white into the gray. Just to get like a light gray color. And then using this, we can add the highlight that's on this side. Right there. And again with the cleanup brush, I'm going to clean up here a little bit. All right, so that looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and give this a flash here. And now once we have everything in place, basically, I'm going to add the eyes now. Okay, so with the eyes, I'm going to add the white first because we're going to do it on top of like a blue color, right? So for the eyes here, you can see it's almost like 2 triangles, but perspective, right? So this head is like tilted this way, like to the right a little bit. So this is going to be a little bit bigger than this one. And the one very important thing about drawing eyes is you want to pay attention to the space in between the eyes. So if you take the distance between here and here, it is pretty much the same distance between here and here. See that if you take this distance from here to here and you put it in the middle, you have one more eye, right? So the space here is very important because you don't want the eyes to be too close or too far away. So I'm going to go ahead and draw using the white. I'm going to mark out the smaller eye first, which is going to be a little triangle on the left side here. Okay, just like that. And again, you want to leave enough space between this triangle with the other eye. Okay, so I'm adding this triangle first, just to, you know, map out the shape, make sure that it's in place. But you can see the white is like very pigmented, right? It definitely does cover up the blue very well. So again, like I said, the trading cards really does translate very well in regards to like the content in the bottle. Okay, just like that. Okay. Now we're going to leave enough space between here and here to do the other eye. Actually, this eye is a little bit too big. Let me start again. I'm going to do it again. I think I made it a little bit too big. So I'm going to go smaller this time. Okay, I think that's good. And then we're going to make sure there's enough space between here to here before I start the other eye. Okay, so that's how you make sure your proportions are on the more accurate side. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and use the white to basically just fill this in. Like so, nice and gently. And you can see very pigmented, right? Like I said, the Gel Monster White #1, this is on the verge of like liner gel level consistency and pigmentation. So it's definitely on the very like pigmented side. So don't be tempted to add too much of this. Less is definitely more. All right. So there we have the eyes. Ta-da! Okay, so once you're happy with the eyes, you can go ahead and give it a flash cure. Beep beep. I'm actually going to show you guys how to fix a mistake that I just noticed. I made this one a little bit too into the head, like compared to like this one. This is only a little bit. This is way too much in the head. So rather than trying to fix, like trying to erase or like trying to file it or whatever, just grab the blue color and just cut it. Okay, you want to work smarter, not harder. Like, don't panic. Okay, I'm going to cut a little bit more. Right there. Okay, just like that. I'm gonna give this a cure. And because I took some of the fin from the bottom, I need to make sure to add it back on the top, right? Because otherwise now it's gonna be too small. So since I took a little bit of the fin down from the bottom here, I'm gonna grab the light blue and just literally add a little bit of height to the fin. Okay, just like that. Nice, easy fix. Because sometimes like you don't notice it until that you add the color and stuff, like the proportion might be a little bit off. But as you can see, it's not a difficult fix. There you go. Okay, that's much better. I'm gonna give this a cure. And now we're going to add the details in the eye. So in the eye, it's going to be like a medium blue color. So I'm actually going to use this one. This is number 49, which is the color that we use for the base of this color actually, which is Aquario. So number 49, opacity is 4 stars, viscosity 3 stars, retention 5 stars. So we're gonna use this to add the iris, basically, the color part of the eye. And you can see here from the trading card, there's only a little bit of the white showing. So most of it is going to be blue anyway. Same with this eye. A little bit of white showing. And most of it is blue, right? So I'm going to use this color here and add the iris. So I'm going to go ahead and do that much. And again, a small amount. Ooh, too much. Small amount. And fill that in. Like little plastic surgery, yes. Little boo-boo fix and then you're good. Okay, we're adding this blue in here. Just like so. And then same thing with this side. Only a little bit of the white is showing. So I'm going to go ahead and add the blue, a little bit of the white showing. So right there. And you can fill in the rest with the blue color. Just like that. And you see, because we're adding it on top of white, it's going to be very vibrant, right? You don't have to worry about doing a second coat if you don't want to. Doing it on top of white definitely makes it more vibrant. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give this a cure. Boop. And then here we're going to add the pupil, okay, using black. Now, when you're doing the pupil of a character, you want to make sure you leave the appropriate amount of color. So if you look at this one right here on the right, you see how the pupil is basically in the center of the eye, right? It's in the middle. But this one, you can see the pupil, there's more color part on this side than there is on the right side, right? The amount of color you leave on either side of the pupil determines where the character is looking. So for example, this character is looking right because more of the pupil is going to be on the right side of the eye rather than in the center, right? So this is looking to the right. So when you add the pupil, you want to make sure you don't you follow the correct amount of space that's being left to establish like perspective or like where the character is looking. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm adding the pupil more towards the right side, right? I didn't put it in the center. But then for this one, I'm going to make sure I keep it in the center. Okay, again, this establishes where your character is looking to make sure your character is not like cross-eyed by accident, right? And make sure you don't make the pupils too big to the point where there's like none of the blue showing, right? You still need a little bit of the blue showing. Okay, just like that. See how now the character is not cross-eyed, it's looking in the right direction. So again, the amount of color you leave around the pupil establishes where the character is looking. And it also prevents your character from looking like cross-eyed. So definitely look at it one eye at a time to double check. Okay, and last but not least, last thing we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of highlight into the eye. There's a highlight in this part right here and a tiny one on over here. You can see there's a little small part. So we're just going to add that highlight in using the white. So we're going to do a tiny little dot right there. And a tiny little dot right there. Okay, highlight. Ta-da! Okay, and we're done. We're gonna give this a full cure now. So the color blocking is pretty much done. That's all the color there is. Again, this is a fairly simple character, so all the color blocking is done. Now, the thing that we're gonna do next is we're gonna be doing the line work. So before you do the line work, you just want to make sure that everything is properly cured. I'm going to fix the eye a little bit just because she looks a little angry here. So, my lamp rolled into the gel. It's okay. Swipe it off. It's fine. Okay, so what I'm referring to is that if you look at here, you see how this one is a little bit more curved, right? But you see here, he looks angry here. So what I'm gonna do, oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So I'm gonna grab the first blue color here. I'm gonna just like round out this part right here just to make him a little bit less angry. Ta-da. Okay, so I'm just like softening the curves here to prevent the character from looking a little bit like grumpy. So I'm rounding out the corners. Again, just using the blue color, right? Just to carve it up. Okay, little bit of surgery. Yeah, it looks a little angry before, and I was like, why does it look so fierce? But there you go. Now it's a little better. It's a little softer. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this a full cure. Because now we're going to go into the line work. So my biggest hack for you guys for line work is to do a thin layer of matte top coat first before you do the line work. And the reason why I like doing that is because when you do a matte top coat on top of your character before you do a line work, it basically smooths everything out, making it nice and even, so that when we do a line work, it's not going to be bumpy. So like, as you guys know, we added all the, you know, the details, the eye, the beak, the fin. It's going to make the nail surface a little bit bumpy, especially depending, you know, on the amount of gel you use, on like how much boo-boo correction you make. So you definitely need to make it a little bit more smooth, so that way the line work can look a little bit more it can be a little bit easier, right? And the trick to doing that is to use a matte top coat. Now, I'm going to use the F-Gel non-wipe matte top coat. Because this is a non-wipe matte top coat, let me know in the comments, how many of you have ever experienced where you do a matte top coat, everything just like smudges, right? It has happened a lot. And the reason for that is actually very simple, because the gels that we use sometimes, most of the time, have a sticky layer, like the inhibition layer. So the sticky layer is the thing that is smudging, causing all the, you know, the gel to smudge when you do your matte top coat, right? So to avoid that, a very simple solution is to just grab alcohol and wipe the sticky layer off, okay, to take off any of the excess pigment. Okay, once you wipe it with isopropyl alcohol, make sure it's completely evaporated first. Okay, and then you do your matte top coat. So this would prevent your matte top coat from streaking your colors. Okay, so that would be your solution. If you guys have ever had that issue before where your matte top coat like streaks all your color and your detail and stuff like that, that's the reason. Okay, when you're cleansing the nail though, use alcohol and not acetone, because sometimes acetone can strip the color, so it can take away from the character itself. So use alcohol, it's a little bit more gentle. Okay, and another tip for you guys when you're doing matte top coat, you want to make sure your matte top coat stays nice and thin. If you ever have an issue where after you do a matte top coat, your design looks a little bit foggy, like cloudy, that's because you're using too much matte top coat. You want your matte top coat to look matte, not like fog. Okay, so keep your matte top coat nice and thin. That can also make your art look like matte and not like cloudy. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a full cure. Now the hack with like cleaning the nail before you do the matte top coat, that can prevent streaking only if you've been doing that from the beginning. So if you already have a matte top coat that you've already used before and it already has caused streaking on like some nails, that means your matte top coat is basically contaminated. So meaning no matter how much you clean the nail after that, you will still have the streaks inside because the inhibition layer is in the top coat already. So every time you do a non-wipe matte top coat, just clean the nail before you use it, and that way you'll keep your bottle nice and clean, so that way you won't have issues with streaking. See? No streaking at all. Okay? And the last and final thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do the line work. When you're doing line work, you want to Flash cure is your best friend. As soon as you get the line, flash cure it. Don't wait, don't risk it. You might bump it. And like flash curing your line also helps you that if you make a mistake somewhere else, when you clean it, you're not going to remove everything, right? So definitely flash cure is your best friend. And the second thing when you're doing line work is you want to load your brush properly. A lot of people would just take this, like drag, and then go do your line work. But what happens is you see this little dot at the tip of the brush here. That's not going to help you get good lines, right? So in order for you to load your brush properly, you want to rotate your brush as you are dragging from the center outwards, rotating the brush as you go. Okay, that way your brush can be properly saturated with the product, and that way your brush will look something like this, a nice fine point. That way you can draw nice thin lines, okay? So again, we're going to do this in sections, and I'm not going to rush it. And another important thing is to make sure you have your pinky supported. Your arm should rest on the edge of the table so that way your arms are not floating. When your arms are floating in the air, you have less control. So make sure your arms are properly rested and you can go ahead and do the line work. Okay, nice and slowly. There's no need to rush. Of course, you're welcome. Here to help. Okay. Thanks. My Suit Sprite tattoo. Okay, I'm going very gentle, very slowly, not rushing the process. Okay, I'm gonna add the 2 lines that are in here. And as you can see, the Midnight Gel, the gel polish is very pigmented to do line work. Okay, once I have that, I'm gonna flash cure. Okay, and now let's do the shape of the face. The trick to drawing a circle is not to press down too hard on the brush, rather use the tip of your brush to draw the circle. That's how you draw curved lines, is to use the tip of the brush. When you press down too hard, you're gonna cause your brush to like separate, and that's gonna cause you to make the lines a little bit thicker. So if you want a nice thin line, use the tip of your brush. Okay, so again, tip of the brush. Also, I'm sorry if you can hear my breathing because I'm like right next to the phone. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do a little surgery cleanup. So again, this is black, so I'm gonna use equal part alcohol and acetone to help make removing the black a little bit easier. Okay, because sometimes black can be really hard to remove. Okay, a little bit down here just to keep it nice and clean. A little bit over here. Boop. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then let's draw the other side right here. Do you guys have any questions for me while I'm doing the line work? Bam. Okay, I'm gonna clean up a little bit right here. Okay, a little bit right here. There you go. Again, once you're happy with it, flash cure. Don't wait. Don't risk it. Okay, let's do the beak. It's gonna go up. down. Like so. Let me look closely. Okay, there is two lines right there. See that? There's one on top and one on the bottom. So we're gonna draw a line right here. Basically where we did the shadow. So like in here. Oh, sorry, on a frame a little bit. In here. Okay. Follow. Right there. That's a little bit too thick. Let me do it again. See, once you flash cure, you don't have to worry about wiping that off, you know? So definitely flash cure is your best friend. Gonna get that nice and thin. There you go. Okay, and then I go do a little with a smile. I'm gonna flash cure that. Since you're only doing line work, you can literally flash cure for like 3 seconds and you can continue moving on. The flash curing just holds the line in place. Okay. Ta-da! Like that. Love it, love it. Just like that. I'll give her a cure. Boom, boom, boom. And now we're going to do the body. I'm doing the eyes last because that's like the hardest part. So again, I'm going to do 1 feet here. When you're doing your line work, definitely keep referring to your reference because it has the line. So it would tell you exactly where to put it. The color blocking does help to an extent. Like for example, like the body and the leg here is all blue, right? So you definitely need to check to see where the lines are going. Okay. 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 We got to breathe. And this is going to go all the way around for the body and the butt. So I'm going to do a nice line right there. Okay. And then we can add the other legs. We're almost done. And then we have to do the eyes, which is arguably the hardest part. So that's why I'm doing everything else first. Okay, and then we have the little tail. Okay, so once I have that, I want to go ahead and flash cure before I do the eyes. Okay, now let's do the eyes. So we'll line the bottom first. Okay, and then we're gonna do the eye. You have to keep this quite thin though. Like that. And then we don't really have to outline the pupil just because the pupil is already black. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this right here. And then same thing with this side. Going to line the eye. I'm going to show you how to fix the left eye in a second, because like you see how the black pretty much covered up the white part of the eye for the eye on the left. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. Because it is a very thin line, I don't want to like waste my time trying to get it in between. So what I would do, I would just leave that right there. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little bit more black on the right side, like that. Don't worry. I'm going to flash here. And to make it a little bit easier on yourself, you want to clean your brush with a little bit of alcohol. And then grab your white. And you can literally add that back in. Like that. See? Rather than me trying to erase this line, add the line again, you know, like trying to do all of that, this is a much smarter way to do it. So it just saves you a little bit of time. So I'm going to show you again. So you see how this black line is a little bit too thick? It covered up the white part of the eye. So I can just literally go back in with my white just to lightly add that part in, right? Rather than going back and forth trying to fix it, this is a much easier way to do it. Okay. And then the last thing we're going to add is the little nostrils on the beak right here. There's two little nostrils right there. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the black and we're going to do, we're going to do one nostril right here and then one over there. Okay. But ta-da! Look how cute. I'm going to give this a full cure now. Okay, so that is Waddle done. We finished painting him. Woohoo! Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So these are all the colors that we used today to create this set. Basically a lot of the blues, a lot of the grays and whites. But these are all the colors that we used today. Okay, so we used white, we used Charbabe, we used Lala Char, we used Param, which is a light blue, and then we used the dark blue, the neon blue to shade, and for the background too, the dark blue to add shadow, and then the black for the line work. So this is all the, oh, and then the Diaspec, the black Diaspec glitter. Okay, so these are all the colors that we use. Oh, let's not forget Waddle. Okay, so once you're done, we can go ahead and give it a top coat. So again, I'm going to use the Gel Monster top gel and to seal in the design. Let me just zoom back in so y'all can see. And now it's going to really bring the glitter back to life again. Look at her. Ta-da! So cute. Love it, love it. Okay, and usually if you do a character, sometimes the surface can be a little bit uneven. You know, after all the layers of gel you add. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I personally don't like it when my nails are bumpy and I can see like the texture. So to avoid that, you want to do, again, like almost like a tiny little overlay over the tip to smooth everything out. Okay, what you can do too is add a thin layer, because this is already a pretty like medium thick consistency gel. What you can do is do a generous layer of top gel like that, and then just flip the nail upside down and just wait for like 10 seconds. What's going to happen is the gravity is going to help even out the gel and also bring it into a nice even line on the apex to make it nice and smooth. See that? Smooth. Okay, so keep it upside down. It's going to help you even out that. And then once you're happy with how it looks, you can go ahead and give it a cure. Okay, see? Smooth. Okay. And I'm going to cure this for 60 seconds. Just because I did add, you know, a little bit more gel than I normally would. So I'm just going to give it a 60-second cure just in case, to cure all the way through to, you know, make sure it's properly sealed. 60 seconds. But I hope you guys enjoyed this live. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very bonita. I know he's very bonita. Okay, so this is Waddle. Again, today we painted Waddle Experimon number 46. The color shade is blue. It's a 4-star viscosity, 3-star opacity, 5-star retention. Okay, and again, this is the solid color swatch. Again, 2 coats, you get perfect coverage. Again, I never worry too much if a gel is quote unquote not pigmented in 1 coat. That's never my concern. As long as it's pigmented in 2 coats, I'm good. So opacity 3 stars will still give you that very nice pigmented blue coverage. Okay, but here we have Waddle. Ta-da! Okay, so a couple of things I would do different if I'm going to paint this again. You can see here, this is like review for like, you know, future. Like, yes, it looks really good, right? But in the future, I would definitely say, you see how the forehead here, there's definitely more forehead space here compared to this one and mine. So I would definitely make the head a little bit longer, just so that I can add a little bit more forehead here and make the fin a little bit higher, so that way the forehead would stay the same proportion. Other than that, I think it looks pretty good. The head could be a little bigger, but other than that, it looks pretty good. Okay, I can definitely also make the beak a little bit smaller. It's a little bit big, but other than that, still looks cute. Okay, so I hope you guys learned something. Thank you so much for watching, and if you guys like this live, please comment below. Let us know if you want to see more, and we'll definitely do more for you guys. Okay, if you guys have any questions that you didn't think of and you thought of after, you can also just leave it in the comments down below. We would do our best to like comment and respond to every comment that you have. Okay, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Good night, guys. Bye.